Hey, it's Rich. Nice to talk to you again. I'm going to do a bridge and tunnel loop today around through Brooklyn, Staten Island, and Bayonne, New Jersey, and back to this spot where I am. I think it's about 40 miles, and I'm not going to show you the whole thing because I don't know how interesting that would be, but I'll show you the bridges and the highlights, and you can ride along. So I'll put the camera back on when there's something a little more interesting to look at. But here we are in Lower Manhattan, in the financial district, on a Sunday afternoon, about 4 o'clock, on the first day of daylight savings. And there's World Trade Center 1, the new tower, right in front of us. There seems to be endless construction in this area. There I am countersteering. I didn't think I was a countersteerer, but I've been paying attention to the way I ride, and of course the beginning of a lean is a push of the handlebars in the direction of the lean. You read it in books and you don't think about it when you're doing it, but even if you don't think you do it, you're doing it, because that's the only way to actually make the bike lean. That's a matter of physics. So here we go into the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. So we're coming out of the tunnel on the Brooklyn side, and I'm going to go through the toll gate and then pull off and check the camera on Hamilton Avenue. So we're back on here. There's a little bit of camera trouble, but I've taken care of that. As you can see, our aspect ratio is now back to normal, or orientation. And we're going to get back on the highway and head south toward the Verrazano-Narrows Bridge. Some infrastructure. I'm guessing that's where garbage barges get loaded. Home Depot. This is the Goethals Expressway. Exciting, I know. This part of Brooklyn, Sunset Park, is not sexy at all, but you need this backside to the city to make the shiny parts work. Nights, if they know this part of Brooklyn at all, know it as the neighborhood where the Costco is, because there's a Costco just up here on the right that you can see from the highway. That was the only thing I knew about in this part of town before I became more of a city circulator in the car and then the motorcycle. There's a Costco parking lot on the right, I think. Yep, there it is. Guessing that the ramp... Oh, I'm guessing incorrectly. Right, so we'll do a little illegal left turn because nobody cares. It's best not to look at the undersides of this viaduct because it looks like it may crumble at any moment. That's true in a lot of the Northeast. Unfortunately, we're not big at investing in our infrastructure in contemporary America. New York City does a heroic job at keeping everything well maintained. Department of Transportation, sanitation, all of them. The city being the enormous beast that it is, there's always major reconstruction work going on everywhere. But it's hard to keep up. Here's a kosher schnitzel bar called the Schnitzel Spot. We're at the edge of Borough Park, which is one of the Orthodox Jewish neighborhoods here in Brooklyn. So there's a bit of kosher activity here, and especially just off to the left. So we're back on the highway, approaching the Staten Island, the Verrazano Bridge to Staten Island. I don't really like the upper level on a motorcycle, so we're going to take the lower level today. I'll take you on the upper level another time. It's just it's windy enough that it's not a comfortable ride. But there's the bridge. This is quite a pricey ride. I think it's a $13 crossing, a little cheaper for motorcycles. So I guess this is probably is this the free direction? I can't remember. Here we are crossing the Narrows, which is the only entrance to New York Harbor, or at least the primary entrance. All shipping passes this way, and it's a majestic channel. It's hard to imagine what a transformation it must have been when this bridge was built in whatever it was, 1960. Because it connected Staten Island to the rest of New York City by land for the first time in history. I mean, they call this the Narrows. It's always been called the Narrows, but it doesn't look very narrow. And even on the lower level here, the wind is pretty fierce through this channel. On the upper level, I have another video that I'll put up soon from my ride on the upper level. The upper levels, it's tolerable, like you can get across safely, but God, was it unpleasant. There was a heavy, chill, gusty wind blowing the whole time. And even this is uncomfortable enough that I'm only happy to do it because I know it's only a mile or two. But the upper was just awful. So this is not a free direction. We got to pay this way too. So this is not a free direction. We got to pay this way too. Here's our toll tag, which is the point at which it should pop up. There we go. So we're on Staten Island. And we're going to be on the frontage road because I came through on the right-hand side of the barrier, which is all right because I think we're going to make a stop over halfway across the island at the Starbucks, which is one of the few places on Staten Island that is not directly on this highway that I think I know the way to. We'll see how my memory is when we get to Clove Rd. There's one Starbucks on the north side of Staten Island. There's a couple more down island, but this is the only one in this part, which I actually think is kind of surprising. It's not like there aren't plenty of people who would like to think of themselves as urbane and sophisticated in the northern part of Staten Island. I mean, not even in the mall, in or near the mall, apparently, is there a Starbucks other than this one. Not that Starbucks is the, indicator of civilization or anything like that, but then again, it is kind of an indicator, like it or not. I suspect that a lot of retail is underinvested in Staten Island compared to the level of potential demand. But then again, probably people here on the island are accustomed to shopping in New Jersey or shopping in Brooklyn. So we're heading west alongside the Staten Island Expressway. Clove Rd is up a ways and just around that bend is my guess. that gas station was in Law and Order as a Staten Island gas station in one episode. I don't actually know if it was that one, but it looked like that. I probably shouldn't confess this, but Michael and I have been watching Law and Order all the way through, from beginning to end, starting with Law and Order Criminal Intent and proceeding to Law and Order SVU, and now we're watching the original Law and Order. So, watching Law and Order as a New Yorker is different than watching it as a normal person, because you see familiar things that are, just scenery for the average person, but for you they're, reflections of, is this my turn? Which I'm going to actually roll up and find out. I think this might be my turn. Because this looks familiar from when I've been here once before. This is it, Clove Rd. So there's recognizable spots, law and order spots in all 5 boroughs, and actually, in a lot of TV, you see one place standing in for another, but they do a pretty good job comparatively of using real locations in Law and Order, which makes it even more fun to watch as someone who lives here. Every restaurant in Staten Island looks like an Italian wedding banquet hall. Probably because a lot of them are. And Portland Avenue, a lot of Dutch names. I'm guessing that this is the way that I want to head. Right along a little ways, and if we don't get oriented, I'll stop and look at the map. I like taking the Enfield up hills because it rumbles in an appealing way, but it's still got plenty of power. Public School 29. St. Teresa. They got 24-hour bagels here in the middle of this random neighborhood of what looks like Castleton Hill. And we don't even have 24-hour bagels in my neighborhood in the middle of Manhattan. That's kind of annoying. Shop. Staten Island's only skateboard shop. And there is our pink Starbucks. Hey, here we are back. Here we are back on the bike. We're done at our Starbucks run, and we're gonna head back to the highway. I had a nice, after my cup of coffee, I had a long chat with a guy who was out admiring the bike, who saw that I wear my Easy Pass toll tag around my neck, and he told me his Easy Pass story. Everyone's got some sort of, every motorcycle rider in New York City has got some sort of war story that they want to tell you, which is kind of fun. It makes you feel like you're part of a community. I think maybe we'll go over the Goethals rather than the Bayonne Bridge. It's a little bit of a longer ride. There's a little more highway to it. There's a nice, not quite a sunset. It's just sun in the dusk, sun in the clouds, and a dusky look. So we're back on the Staten Island Expressway. Most of the traffic is heading the other way back toward Brooklyn. This is the New Jersey bound route. Big puffy clouds. So this is the bike at 60 miles an hour. It's a very comfortable ride. I'm a little slower than the speed of traffic, but not in an unsafe way. And if I want to pick up the speed, I can. There's plenty of pickup to, accelerate. I'm pulling over after this guy. Heading for the bridge. gotta remind myself to wear neck warmer, even on days like this when it's in the 40s. At this speed, you really want it. You want a tight seal. And I can see the bridge. You'll be able to see it in a minute. Traffic slowed down a little. I actually want to go faster than they are. And you can hear the rumble of the bike because we're heading up the slope. Back online in the New Jersey side. Rather than hit the turnpike and pay to go slower, we'll head over to US 1 and 9. And still highway, just not quite as super highway into Jersey City and back to New York. So, we're in Elizabeth, New Jersey, or at least the port of Elizabeth. I don't think we're going to go through downtown. Actually, maybe we are. US 1 probably does go through downtown. I'm going to pull off up here for just a second and change the exposure mode on the camera. We're heading up Bayway through Elizabeth. And camera will be right back. All done. I don't know if you can see a difference, but I bet you probably can. It's not actually sundown, but there's a thick cloud layer between the sun and us. So. Because it says that this is your route to the Newark airport. If we can get to Newark airport, we can get to US 1. And this is sort of directionally the way we want to head, according to my internal compass. We can cut the corner. That I can see a tall stone building in the middle distance, a bit to the left of center. And that is Elizabeth City Hall, or at least I think that's what it is. You can see that from the train. There we go. There's US 1. Although, I don't know which way is which. It would make sense that to the right. The right has to be north because of where we know the waterfront is. I'm trying to think in my understanding of the physics of the situation, whether it's possible that I can be reversed. Oh, actually, there's a sign to tell me, and I was correct. So from here we get a bit of city, and then we're in the Newark Airport zone, and from there on it's highway. Go-Go Angels Men's Club. Classy. 2 gentlemen's clubs. Gentlemen. Yeah, so gasoline here in Elizabeth, New Jersey is a full $1 a gallon less than in New York City. New York City I'm paying, I think $4.79. But we don't need gas. I can't even get the gas light to go on when I lean the bike, so it's not like you can save a lot of money anyway on a motorcycle by going out of your way to get gas in another jurisdiction, because the tank of this thing is only 3 gallons, and I'm barely buying more than 2 gallons at a time. So all right, we'll pull over and take the express lanes. Thing that's a lot of fun on a motorcycle is that you've got more pickup at traffic lights than most cars do, so it's very easy for you to get out in front if you're the lead vehicle. And then, you know, they catch up and go around you, but you start off in front ahead of everybody else. There to the right is the control tower of the air traffic control tower of Newark Airport. It's gotten chilly. It's 4 or 5 degrees colder now than it was when I set out. So I'll be glad to be home. And I'm just doing a steady 60 miles an hour on open road here. I've got nothing to prove to anyone speed-wise, and that's a good thing because I can't really do it very effectively on a Royal Enfield. God, I wish I had a balaclava on. The good thing about this stretch is that if I want to get my gas mileage up, the best possible way to do it is to do an unbroken stretch of road at 60 miles an hour. It's where the bike really performs. Just steady driving at 55, 60 miles an hour in 5th gear. If I really wanted to be aerodynamic, I would hunch over like this, but I don't think it makes a big difference. sign says 15 miles to Manhattan, but that's via the Lincoln Tunnel. Or sorry, that's via the George Washington Bridge. We're going over the Holland Tunnel, which is much closer. We're probably 5 miles from, or 6 miles from Manhattan. And I can feel crosswinds here going up the rise toward the Skyway. But it's not as bad as the Narrows where the Verrazano is. I assume that the fact that no trucks are allowed over this crossing means that it's in danger of falling into the Hackensack River or whatever this is. General Pulaski Skyway. It's an old road. And I can see in the distance and a bit off to the right from the roadway the towers of Lower Manhattan. The tallest one is World Trade Center 1, which is near where we started this ride. And then just a bit to the left of the road, I can see the illuminated top of the Empire State Building. It's just a bit far enough away that I'm not sure that you can see it, given the resolution of this camera. Heated grip wraps from Aerostitch, which I haven't put on the bike yet, and I thought maybe I wouldn't need them anymore, but I'm thinking maybe I'll put them on because my fingertips are feeling this. Squarely in Jersey City and heading for the covered roadway. And here we are in the covered roadway. Which is in a cut below grade. It's not fully covered. It's not a tunnel, it's just a below grade trench. There's a highway in it and some decking over it. We're coming up on the Holland Tunnel approach. This neighborhood here to the right, Hamilton Park, this is where I lived when I lived in Jersey City. Slow down. I don't like speed differentials. But it looks like it's a wide open road, aside from the traffic lights, all the way to the tunnel, which is nothing to take for granted on a Sunday evening, with all the people who've been out of town coming back into the city. I guess there's less of that in the winter and spring than there is in the summer. Are we going to make it all the way into the tunnel without stopping? I can't remember the last time that has happened to me. Looking good. That is a miracle. That is an effing miracle. Here we go. That was lucky. Lucky. I mean, I am paying $12 for the privilege of crossing under the Hudson River, but still, it's pretty awesome. Fun fact, I've almost never been through the Holland Tunnel in the left lane. I'm almost always on the right lane because of the way I normally approach. So this is a new experience. And we're almost at highway speed through the tunnel. I'm going 48 miles an hour, which usually isn't possible. Well, now not anymore. I am in fifth gear. Now we come out and we're in the circle here. I guess I'll go down West Broadway, or West Broadway. From here to where I live, there's no real easy traffic-free way to go all the way across the island and then down. This circle coming out of the Holland Tunnel used to be I think a streetcar turnaround or a rail yard. I mean, it's been a piece of transportation infrastructure for forever. Unlike the bicycle, I stop. Motorcycle. Almost never make both that light and this one in one cycle, so I consider that evidence of that God looks upon me favorably. Open again? It is open. It was closed earlier because they had cranes down here. This building here on the left, see the tall building under construction? That's gone up very quickly. The design's kind of meh, but I don't really mind having another 1,000 people living in this neighborhood because it'll help improve our restaurant situation. Our choices took a hit as a result of Hurricane Sandy. And we're almost back at the garage. here. So I'm back. Thanks for riding along, and we'll go somewhere else soon.